What's going on, everybody? It's Tori, and welcome back to another game recap. Now, I missed the last game recap against the Dallas Mavericks because, simply, I was frustrated. I also missed a portion of that game, and everything that I saw in that loss was everything that I'd seen in the past few losses before that, and it had been all stuff that I've been talking about, stuff like lack of defensive energy in the first half, getting down early. And in the recap before that Mavericks game, I said, we can't let that team get out of the gates hot, we can't let them get confidence to start the game, we have to try and get up, and we can't keep fighting from behind to get back into games. Well, against the Phoenix Suns, they fixed that. But the Phoenix Suns absolutely suck. They might be the worst team in the league right now, especially when they don't have Devin Booker or TJ Warren, two of their best three players. So it would have been panic mode in Rip City. I would have had a meltdown if we lost to the Phoenix Suns. Thankfully, we did the opposite of what we've been doing. We came out of the gates hot, and we held the Phoenix Suns to 9 first quarter points, which was their second straight game with 9 points in the first quarter. That's how bad their offense is right now. But we've been letting any team walk all over us during the first half, so it was still nice to see us switch that trend around. Given that the Phoenix Suns are so bad, there's really no takeaways in terms of the team basketball we played. There's really nothing to talk about because playing against the Phoenix Suns without two of their best three players, that's not something you can really judge the Blazers by. Instead, this video is primarily going to be about the Jake Layman conundrum. So Jake Layman had been racking up DNPs lately, and for anybody who doesn't know what that means did not play. That's how it's written on the box score. And this was after he had a very good start to his season as a starter. Now, he was a token starter. He was like Vonleh was in past years, where he would start but only play around 12 to 15 minutes a game. But he was helping the team out for sure. But then Maurice Harkless comes back, and Jake Layman all of a sudden goes straight to the bench and doesn't play. And that kind of sucked. He had finally developed some confidence as an NBA player and was finally playing well. He was hitting threes, he was making good cuts to the rim, he's a great off-ball cutter, which is something we need. He's a lob threat, and while his team defense left something to be desired, he still wasn't playing bad at all. But still, he got sent to the bench. Maurice Harkless starting in the starting lineup. That's one redundant sentence. Maurice Harkless took Layman's starting role. There we go. And right after they switched out Layman for Harkless, the team started struggling mightily. Now, Harkless is shooting under 40% from the field and under 30% from three, but it's a very small sample size. And a lot of people were saying, oh, that's why we're losing. However, I don't think this switch had anything to do with our struggles lately. Our struggles have been due to the defensive end, and Maurice Harkless has actually played well on that end this season. He's probably been our most energetic defender. For the season, he has a positive 2.7 defensive box plus minus. He's definitely not hurting us on the defensive end, and he's definitely a much better defender than Jake Layman. But our struggles lately have been the defensive end. So switching out a mediocre defender for a good one didn't cause those issues. However, that's not to say that Terry Stotts made the right decision by taking Jake Layman out of the rotation. And Jake Layman showed that with 24 points against the Phoenix Suns. Now, I know it's the Phoenix Suns, I know they suck, I've been saying it all video, but still, this dude hit some tough threes, including an and one. He was also making perfect, precise cuts. He makes really good basket cuts, he knows when to cut, and he cuts hard. That's something that's lacking from pretty much our entire team. And frankly, he showed that he should maybe even still have his starting spot. If not, he should definitely still be in the rotation. Now, Jake Layman got this opportunity because CJ McCollum was out with an injury, so we'll see what happens when CJ comes back. But I will be very frustrated if Jake Layman doesn't play once CJ returns. What's also very confusing for me is after the game, Terry Stotts was asked about why Jake Layman hadn't been playing, and he said something about, oh, they have Curry and Stauskas and Evan Turner, and those guys in the bench in general have been playing well. I don't know what Terry Stotts has been watching, but during this rough stretch, our bench has been playing terrible. Very little ball movement, which is what they were excelling with to start the season. Evan Turner has grown more and more inefficient. Seth Curry still can't hit a shot inside the arc. Nick Stauskas is still the type of guy who will have one good game out of 4, and then the other 3, it won't even seem like he's on the court. And then Stauskas' defense is also very bad. Honestly, Jake Layman right now might be a better player than all those guys. Certainly so far this season, he's played the best out of those those 4. So I don't understand what Terry Stotts is saying about the bench playing good lately and that those 3 guys should deserve minutes ahead of Jake Layman. Honestly, right now, I'd probably take Evan Turner out of the rotation. As I said in a recent video, the team is getting outscored by something like 10 points per 100 possessions when Evan Turner is on the floor. That's compared to units involving Jake Layman outscoring others by about 2 points per 100 possessions. That's a 12-point swing per 100. I also said recently that Seth Curry might need the ball in his hands a little bit more to build the rhythm, to get a feel back and be back to the way he was playing for the Dallas Mavericks before he had that injury that lost him last season. So you could have Curry running point, Stauskas as your 2 guard, and then Jake Layman as your starting small forward. Now, I think that lineup would struggle in terms of ball handling, but Seth Curry has shown during his career that he can play the point guard spot, so I don't think that'd be something we need to worry about. Against certain teams, you might have to keep Evan Turner in the game for ball handling purposes, but honestly, maybe it's time to start playing Jusuf Nurkic with the bench with that lineup. Have Jusuf Nurkic as that elbow high post type of guy facilitating the offense. If you had 4 shooters around him, like Zach Collins, Jake Layman, Nick Stauskas, and Seth Curry, and they had those guys cutting around Jusuf Nurkic while Jusuf Nurkic was being used like we used Mason Plumlee or like we used Nurkic during that 20-game stretch right after we traded for him, I think that'd work really, really well. Nurkic would get more touches because he'd be playing with a lineup where he'd be the best offensive player, and I think Jusuf Nurkic would eat any backup center in the NBA. You know what? In the next week or so, I might come out with a video detailing how Portland could structure its lineup and rotation to keep Jusuf Nurkic starting, but then subbing him out early and then subbing him back in with the second unit. So I'm not saying take Jusuf out of the starting lineup. I just think it'd work well if we could somehow find a way to play him with that second unit. Either way, Jake Layman needs minutes, and if he doesn't get them tonight, you will hear about it in the game recap. Coming up tonight, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's time to get revenge because they absolutely crushed us in Minnesota in our previous matchup against them. This is a team that's very solid at home and very bad on the road. They're 2-8 on the road. We're 9-4 at home. We gotta win these home games against teams like this. We can't drop these. So I think this is a good test for the Blazers team, a game they should win, but given their struggles lately, who knows if they're able to pull this one out. I want to see us defend well for the first half like we did against the Phoenix Suns. I want to see us do that against a solid offensive team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'll also be looking for our bigs, avoiding foul trouble early because guarding Karl Anthony Towns is a task. That dude is one of the best offensive big men in the league, probably in the top 3, and it's not an easy matchup for Jusuf Nurkic because Cat can take it out to the perimeter and take you off the dribble or shoot threes. So while Collins probably would be the best defender to put on him, Collins has been very foul prone lately, so you don't want to get him into foul trouble. And Karl Anthony Towns is very solid in the low post, and that's probably the one area of Zach Collins' defense outside of fouling that he still needs to improve a little bit in because he's still skinny. He still needs to bulk up a little bit more to be able to handle guys like Karl Anthony Towns down there on the block. Other than that, don't let Derrick Rose or Andrew Wiggins go off for 30 or 40 because it seems like throughout the past few years, we've seemed to let role players like that go off for huge games. Now, I know Andrew Wiggins is like a 20-point per game scorer, but he does it inefficiently. We can't let him get efficient shots. We can't let him get good looks. We can't let him get going at all. And we need to do what I've been harping on all season. Move the ball, make good cuts to the rim, be patient with the offense. No Evan Turner 17-foot fadeaway jumpers with 17 on the shot clock. No Jusuf Nurkic 20-foot 2-point jump shots with 15 on the shot clock. No shots like that. I would like to see us look to run in transition and hopefully get a good shot out of that, but if not, be patient, move the ball in the half court, take care of the ball, and just play solid fundamental team offense. On defense, we just need to show some energy. We need to cover ground quickly. We need to do a good job of closing out because we suck at those. Don't jump at those pump fakes from the perimeter. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this game tonight. Anyway, true Blazer fans, I hope you have a good weekend, and with that, I'm out of here. Go Blazers!